Hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody, or happy whatever day or time you're watching this. Welcome in. We we've had a delay, but we're back with our holistic health chat. Me and Desiree. So let's get her in here. See if this is working. You should pop in. I did press accept, right? Did. Okay. There we go.
Ooh, my favorite filter.
Hey, yes, the sparkles.
Mm-mm. Do you have like meditation music in the back?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was like, let me turn this down.
it was like ooh, ooh.
It's like the flute and yeah, it's
Nice.
very soothing, calming music.
It
It was
is.
a meditation, calming type of morning.
Good.
hmm hmm
Good, good, good.
How are you doing? Welcome in.
Thank you. I am well. My tripod decided to no longer cooperate with me, so
Oh
I'm
no.
holding it.
Back to the old school way.
Yes, old school. Come on, that's so like 2020.
Right. Well, happy to have you in.
Yes.
I know we maybe missed one, but we work on our own time because time is just a, human construct anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to be discussing connecting to our ancestors. And I think for this topic, I'm mostly going to be like learning from you and asking you questions because I
Oh.
feel like I'm pretty new to it. And I've also been like trying to learn more and trying to incorporate more of this into my life. So yeah, like learning about myself and going through my spiritual path is one thing, and then adding into that, I would love to learn more about the ancestors and how I can connect to them in ways that work, within my life and use that to enhance just our culture and community, past, present, and future.
Of course,
Uh,
of course.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, well, let's start with introducing ourselves for those who may not know each of us.
Right,
So,
right, right. Yes.
I'll start with Janine. Who art thou?
So I am Janine of Jenny Jam Fitness. I always like struggle to put all of what I do into words.
Mm,
But basically I see myself now as a movement guide, and
yeah.
not only physical movement, but emotional and mental and psychological movement within the mind and the body.
Mm,
And I guide Black women in my community to finding the tools and the resources in order to better promote them, finding an easier path through this journey of self-love and self-care and just connecting with yourself in a way that is powerful so that you can connect with your community and others around you in that same manner and sense. So I do that through courses, online programs, dance classes. Now I'm teaching yoga. So all of the holistic healing modalities that I can utilize to help my community and to help myself and, just connect better with ourselves and each other. So yeah, that's basically what I do in a nutshell. There's so much more, but when we put it into words, we can only say so much about it. So that's
right.
me. And then I'm so honored to have you here. I'm wearing orange in honor of you and your
Thank
move and
you.
your like up leveling and all of that. Yes. So
I love
Desiree,
that. I
please
love
tell
that.
us a little bit about you.
Um, yes, and also you should also mention that you do Jenny Jam Fitness on Saturdays, right? She has an
Yes.
amazing, amazing program. The class is so fun. You get to not only work out all of your body, but you also are like fed beautiful affirmations throughout the class. It's dancing, it's Caribbean music, it's soca. It's just a really good time. So yes,
Thank
everyone,
you.
please,
Yes.
please,
Can't forget
please.
about my jam down. Yeah.
Yes,
Link
she's
in the
great.
bio, always, always, every Saturday.
Yes, yes,
Thank you for that.
absolutely. Of course. So, for myself, I am Desiree, last name Sprawl. And I am also a guide. I am a guide to support people throughout whatever sacred transition that may be. I'm a holistic doula, and so I support in conscious conception, which is similar to fertility, but also looking at someone holistically to create a beautiful environment for a baby to be born or created in. I, of course, am a pregnancy and birth doula, first and foremost, as well as postpartum. And I'm a yoga teacher, meditation teacher. So, really, my role in this life is to guide people to themselves.
Mm.
That's really my role. I had to do a lot of work myself in order to become whoever I am today. And so now I've gained some to be able to assist others do the same. So that is my role in this world thus far. That is so far what has been revealed to me. And so I just continue to
Mm-hmm.
grow, teach, learn, each one teach one.
Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah. And I forget who this quote is by, but one of my mentors says it all the time that we're all just walking each other home, just finding
Oh, yeah,
ourselves and then, helping each other do the same. So we're just walking each other home.
exactly.
That's what we're doing. Um, love
I love
that.
that.
It's cutting in and
Mm.
out. So you're like kind of delayed on my end. Okay. You're back.
Yeah, you're delayed on my end too.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was just me. All right. Good. Good. I'm glad it's not just me. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's dive into our topic for today. Just finding a spiritual. I feel like like developing spiritual practices to develop a connection with the ancestors would be like a good place to start if you have any insight on that, or just even maybe we could start all the way at the beginning of where you began to like realize that you were connected or wanted to connect more with your ancestors, and then how that journey kind of played out for you.
Yeah, it's such a profound, really deep conversation that will only touch the surface on today due to timing. But what I wanted to say in regards to ancestors is that we are a nation of everyone who came before us, right? So it's not only your grandma if they've passed or your grandpa, but it goes back generations and generations and generations. And so when we think of the blood that is literally pumping through our veins, that is actually our ancestors. We share the DNA. We share down to the molecular level, right? A lot of times we have this thought that humans are just here in the physical form and then vanish. No, they're still
Hmm.
present. They are parts of us always. Our eyes, our nose, like our blood, our DNA, the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we think is all passed down from many, many, many different generations. And so, what somebody felt maybe 100 years ago, that is still being reflected in who we are today. So that is something that I say is like a baseline in regards to connecting with ancestors as well, because it's just important to know and to realize we are not separate from ancestors. We're not separate from the earth. We are not separate from any of the parts of nature that we find ourselves trying to separate from constantly. We're
Mm-hmm.
always like, oh, we're separate from the birds, we're separate from the soil, we're separate from the plants. We're actually one. And so when we pass on, people say, oh, we're just in the dirt. But what happens to our bodies in the dirt, right? Our bodies decompose and then they go
Mm-hmm.
into the soil. That soil
Right.
then
And become the
changes.
earth.
Yeah, you literally become the earth. And so our physical beings are never non-existent. It just changes,
Mm, mm-hmm.
right? There is no end, there is no beginning. It's just change.
Mm,
And so I think it's really important for us to be able to understand that at a ground level,
mm-hmm.
because then it allows us the opportunity to really understand that we're always here in different form, but we're always here. So if we know
Right.
that of ourselves, then we can know that of those who have transitioned. And that's
Mm-hmm. Right.
why those in like a spiritual space, we don't necessarily say that grandma, grandpa have died, we say that grandma, grandpa have transitioned, or whomever is in your life. And I think that is, boom, we have this baseline. Okay. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's where we go in regards to reverence for the ancestors,
Mm-hmm.
because
It's like energy. Like energy is never destroyed or created. It's just
exactly,
transferred and changed and shifted.
exactly. And those who like are practitioners of science, right? We say that is the law of thermodynamics, right? Energy is not created nor changed. I mean,
Nor destroyed.
nor destroyed. Thank you. It is only changed. So that is, yeah, just something to share. How I got started in this particular space is I have been like doing spiritual studies for like many years. I'm just always reading, I'm always learning about metaphysics and spirituality and connection and energy. And like all of these topics are just very important to me because I learn in this capacity. So when you start to read, oh, something, something my ancestors, at first you have like no connection to that. It's kind of can be just a word that people are throwing around, but you may not necessarily know how it is connected to your own life.
Mm-hmm.
And I always started to say, maybe around 2018, 19, I was like, I feel like I want to alter. I feel like I want to alter. But I didn't really have anyone close to me who ever transitioned. And so I just had it in the back of my mind. And my grandma transitioned in 2020. And so now this was the opportunity for me to kind of like more so dive in. And when I mention an altar, I am speaking of a space that one may go to show reverence for those who have transitioned, for potentially deities, depending on your religion or spiritual practice. It is a place where you can go to provide offerings to whomever you feel called to. And so that is what an altar is. There's nothing like um, dark or like sadistic, you know, about it in
Right.
any regard. It's really just a place of connection, a place of offering, a place of peace for many people. And and so with that, it
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to connect with my grandmother, even though she was no longer physically in the space. And so you can put a picture up of the person, you can just communicate and talk to said person as if they were there with you. And so that is a way that you can connect to your ancestors, but it doesn't have to be someone like your immediate family. Maybe it was a mentor who was something like really profound in your life. You can have their
Mm-hmm.
picture up or something um, that signifies them to you. So it can be a little trinket, it can be jewelry, it can be anything that reminds you of said person. And so that is another way to connect to the ancestors. Talk to them as if you're talking to Janine and myself, talk to them as if they are right here physically and present with you. And it brings a sense of warmth over the body. It brings a sense of connection
Mm-hmm.
and love, appreciation, because as you water, not only the water, but you water the plants or the flowers, you are showing a peace offering, essentially. And
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different ways that you can set up an altar and however you'd like to design it. I won't go too much into that today. But
Yeah.
I think it is something really helpful
How
for,
often do you visit your altar that you have?
yeah, when I'm called to. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So some people may visit their altar every day, some people
Mm-hmm.
may visit their altar multiple times a day, or it could, or whenever you feel called to. I think that it's important to just listen to whatever your spirit is telling you to do rather than like trying to be regimented with something. It's like, at the very
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah. I feel like it's hard to hear like what to listen to because we have such a like huge disconnect with ourselves. So it's hard to like tap into that intuition to be able to listen to it. And
Mhm.
then I feel like this is such like this is still a pretty new topic to me. But I also feel like there's a huge, especially in America, like there's a huge disconnect with our ancestors because we're only told like this much of our history. So it just goes back to like
Right.
slavery. And then we think that these are the ancestors that we need to be paying attention to and not, we're not including before that when we were like ruling the world and the earth and we were royalty. And so we're not including that as a part of our history and a part of our like ancestral connection that we can form that powerful bond with. So I feel like it's just been a lot of
Yeah.
disconnecting. So this, you know, bringing up topics like this, and I'm glad that we're having this discussion to be able to bring this to light and make people become more aware of what they're not connected to and why they might not feel connected to that.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I think I live my life from a Pan-African mind, right? So it's great that you mentioned that because not everybody thinks in that particular way. And so when I think
Hmm.
of others, I am not thinking of only my grandma, only like slavery, only, that. We have a very, very long line of people who once lived in this world that are interested in our well-being, interested in our greater good. And so I think it is important to be able to identify, it's not just, slavery. Like
Yeah.
there's so much more. I mean, my mind doesn't even that doesn't even cross my mind anymore. But I'm also like many, many years into thinking in a particular way,
Hmm.
and to highlight that many people may stop there, and
Yeah.
we are so much more profound than the 400 years when we think about how long humans have existed, and we all know that humans are derivatives of the African woman. So, of course, we cannot stop at slavery as we have been here way longer.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of us have that feeling. It's just been kind of you know, like when like something is on high volume, you just turn it all the way down. It's
Yeah.
pretty much like turned all the way down, and we need to turn it back up. But I felt connected to certain things that I started learning about pretty much immediately. And I feel
Mhm.
like when I lost my great grandma, who was just like the matriarch of the
Mhm.
family and had like 17 children, and then you
Mhm.
know grandchildren and great grandchildren. She pretty much raised me, and I'm her great grandchild, and she had her own
Wow.
children. So she's just like just an amazing, phenomenal, like just this like all powerful being who was here and who was like providing and giving to everyone. But I feel like when she transitioned, like at her funeral, they, you know how they like do up the bodies, and I feel like just funerals in general also provide kind of like a disconnect to like you and the person because it's like, oh, look, their body is no longer living, like they're dead,
Yeah.
so this is our way of
Right.
like letting them go, but you never really let them go because their essence and their spirit is eternal. So
Mhm.
I didn't want to see what they did to her body and how they made it up and the way that my family was describing it too. I was like, yeah, I was gonna hold what I remember. I'm just
Mhm.
gonna hold on to that. And then I just felt like even after the funeral and the sadness and like it is sad and there is, you
Of
know,
course.
definitely grieving with whatever there's loss in life, there's grieving. So there's grieving is kind of like a thing that should be normalized. But that's another topic. But I just felt like she never went away. Like her energy and her
No.
power and her light and everything. Like I always felt like she was with me, and I would have like these conversations that I didn't really tell my family about because not everybody can connect like this.
Right.
Um, and I didn't want it to seem like spiritual woo woo or voodoo or anything like
Right.
that. I'm an obia or none of
Oh
that.
yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not do obia.
Minado.
So,
Oh, that was
yeah, but I
you.
always felt that connection. I always felt that connection with her, and like still to this day, and I'll still like ask her questions, and I still feel like her spirit and her energy is around. So it's something that I've connected with, without even like knowing or realizing that I had, a connection to this ancestor in this type of
Mhm.
way. And that's where it begins. And then that kind of just opens up and flourishes from there. So I'm just
Yeah,
still unfolding and learning about this, and just helping people put it together, because you might have certain feelings or questions and not know where to go or what to ask or what even that you're feeling within yourself.
exactly.
Um,
Something I want to highlight is not forcing it, right?
yeah, yeah,
I am not a proponent of someone just like, well, tomorrow I'm going to start ancestry work, ancestor work.
right. Not
What?
forcing it. Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
force, right? We do things when we're called. We do things when it is resonating to us in our spirit. But we have to
Hmm.
be able to connect to our spirit first before we can even try to connect beyond ourselves. So
Yeah.
I think that is something that is important to know and to highlight. Like, don't. There's no need to
Hmm.
force it. When it's the time for you to connect, something will call you to do so.
Yeah. You don't
And
have to force it or label it anything. It doesn't have to
no,
look in a certain type of way.
it
Just
doesn't.
allow it to happen naturally, how it feels good for you.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, it's not easy at first. It can be very triggering. You know, when I
Hmm.
first began, it was very painful to go to that
Hmm.
altar because that altar also meant that she wasn't physically here,
Hmm.
right? And so
Hmm.
you have to accept that portion of it as well. Um, So yeah, it is. It could be very triggering at the beginning,
Yeah.
and the triggering typically means that growth is happening, transition is happening, change of mindset is happening.
Hmm.
So
Doesn't mean to stop.
yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean to stop. It just means that a shift is occurring.
Mm. Yeah. I was reading something also about in my little like connecting to ancestors research. Um, I was reading about like you're saying, bringing up pain and it being triggering. And it was saying that because you also have to go into your family's history and what might be like painful within your family's history and what they've gone through. It's like Encanto, which I just watched, which was about
Oh
like
my God, why have
generational
I not
trauma.
seen this yet?
Oh
Everybody's
when
talking
my
about
cousin
this.
told me it was about like generational trauma, I was like,
Yeah,
okay, I need to see that. I need
I
to see that.
know.
But it like you would love it. You're gonna appreciate how they bring
Okay.
all of this up and just like facing the family, the pain of your family and the suffering
Mm,
that they've been through, presently, the ones who are alive and the ones who have transitioned on. Like just going through all of that might be triggering for you, might be hard for you to accept, but just going in openly and lovingly and using that pain as power for you, using it
yeah,
to propel you forward. Being like, look at what my ancestors went through and
exactly.
accepting that. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's also it can
and
be
it's
it can be everything. Like the pain is going to be a part of it, and just to
yes.
be compassionate with yourself and give yourself grace and have patience and take your time, like really take your time with all of this. We're
Hmm.
taught to want everything so quick, but
Hmm.
within the healing and the spiritual journey and connecting with yourself so deeply and connecting with others and your ancestors, you have to take your time. Like when I first started, I tried to rush it and I was like, no, 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 this doesn't feel good. And like taking on so much so soon, you're going to feel isolated, you're going to feel alone, and
Yeah,
it's not going to feel good. And you're going to probably want to stop. So I would say just take your time, like just crawl along, rest when you need to.
exactly.
Um, yeah.
Definitely. I absolutely agree. And, you know, if there happens to be a workshop that you see online that piques your interest, that says, oh, how to build an altar, or what is ancestral
Hmm.
work, or what is ancestral healing, I think, oh my God, there's this beautiful woman who I follow. I think her page is Ancestors in Training,
Mm.
but she calls her
Oh, I
program.
love that.
Yeah, I adore her. She's actually in Brooklyn too.
Mm.
And
I'm gonna write that down. Hmm.
yes, and I really like just reading her posts because she always has something profound to say and something that I have been thinking about for since I think that was 2019 is that we are all living ancestors, right?
Hmm.
we have to view ourselves as such because if we know that generations are potentially going to come from us, then we're going to move around this world differently. We're not going to have a mindset of doing harm and doing bad because we know that that's going to pass on to the
Mm.
generations after us.
Yep.
And so our desire to heal and help heal others is going to be more profound because we know that it's not just us. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't carry just Desiree. I carry the generations before me and the generations after me.
Mm-hmm.
And viewing yourself as a living ancestor is um, a necessary change in mindset because
Yeah,
you're just gonna move differently. There's no way that
definitely.
you know that you are a living ancestor and the things that you do matter and are going to affect you, your family, your community, and the generations after you, and you want to
Mm-hmm.
act up.
Yeah, right. No, you're gonna take some type of
There's going to
responsibility
be
much
responsibility there.
differently. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So, yeah, we are all living ancestors. That is like a mantra that I keep in my mind. Like, I am a
Mm.
living ancestor.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And there's
I need a
responsibility.
t-shirt that says that to remind
Yes.
myself, and then to to bring awareness to other people that you are a living ancestor. Like,
Exactly. What
what
do
are
you
you
choose to
choosing to
do?
value and do with your life as a living ancestor, knowing that
Exactly.
whatever you're doing is leaving a legacy of those actions, right? And those beliefs.
Absolutely.
Love
Absolutely.
that. Living ancestors. Taking
Yes.
notes, taking
But, that's all I have for today, darling. That's all I got for today.
notes. Yes. I feel like the just want to touch upon like the surface level of it. I feel like ancestry.com and like that. I mean, while it like sparked the thought and the awareness in our mind to like, oh,
Mm,
find out where we're actually from originally, I feel like some of that is not always accurate.
yeah.
And then I feel like people stop with that. Like they find out they're from this place and then they kind of just stop there. And it's not like a
Mm,
deeper connecting and building and maybe going there and connecting, finding out what tribe your family was from and connecting
mm,
with that tribe and trying to give back in that way and
right.
learn like what your ancestors were good at. And maybe that connects with something that you're interested in,
Yeah.
in within your life. So I think that is a good start, kind of, but also we need to
Yeah.
dig deeper. But I wanted to get your thoughts on like ancestry.com and all these like africanancestry.com and all of that hype.
You see this face?
Yeah, because that's what I was like hype. It feels like it's hype.
Yeah. No, I don't think in my opinion, this is Desiree speaking. I
Hmm.
don't desire a test to tell me who I am, right? I already know who I am. And I also think that some of these programs are not necessarily for the people, right? I'd be interested in people
Mm,
considering who are the folks behind some of these tests, right? I
right.
think that's imperative to know, research, and understand.
Especially
Um,
here where a lot of things are just for profit, not for people.
yeah, yeah, I think it makes for an amazing marketing plan because so many people feel lost. They're like,
Hmm.
and like deep down in their core, when people find out this information, whether it's true or not, the depths of the pain in their soul, you can see the tears and the pain and the anguish that they feel of like, I just felt so lost for
Yeah.
so long. That is like the pain that we carry within from generations and
Hmm.
generations.
That's the
And so
disconnection,
that's the
like a
disconnection.
deep disconnect.
Right. So, for that, I am happy that people have opportunities, whether it's real or not, whatever, it
Hmm.
allows people to heal. So it can absolutely be a healing tool for folks.
Hmm.
Not for me, but
Hmm.
I was just raised different. My uncle's a genealogist, so like, I kind of have certain privileges in that regard.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it brings up the topic to them of, oh, like our ancestors, like finding out where you're actually from.
Yes.
But it just like we're just in this climate of having our history, like, destroyed and like told only bits and pieces that matter
Mhm.
in a way that where we are lost and we don't know who we are. Like a lot of us go through life like that. And then it's like, the ancestry.com things and then, just marketing and media. It's like, let me tell you who
Yeah.
you are. Let me tell
No,
you what you're missing.
personally, I'm not going to seek my truth from the oppressor. Never.
Right, right.
Never. I'll never do that. And so you go
Mm-hmm.
to teachers who are interested in who you are at the core. They have determined who they are by going through history. They're going to go to and seek through Kemetic knowledge. They're going to go through and seek, Nubia, right? They're going to go through and seek Mesopotamia, right? And going down the line in that way and looking at your
Mm-hmm.
history not from a European lens. You want to look at your history from the African mind, if you are of African descent, of course. Actually, even white people need to look. um, but that I really genuinely think that we need to get away from trying to seek and find ourselves through the oppressor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That does not make logical sense to me. And so you want to go and seek who are your, Kemetic leaders, who are your black leaders who think from an African mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they may be, um, what's a good way to say this? They may be more raw than we are used to. And so what we do with that is we take what resonates and we leave what doesn't. Learn
Mm-hmm.
from as many people as you can. We take from, what they're saying if it resonates with us. If not, all right, that man was tripping on that part. Boom. Like
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Umar Johnson, he says a lot of crazy stuff, right? But he also
Mm-hmm.
says a lot of profound things too, but we can't hear it because of all the noise of all the foolishness, other foolishness he be talking about. And
Mm-hmm.
so we need to be able to have discernment. Take what resonates with any black leader
Yeah.
who we fancy,
Yes.
and then leave everything else to the side. But we still need to be
Mm-hmm.
able to learn who we are, learn our history, get educated, on what's the what, so we don't have to keep seeking ourselves from those
Yeah.
who are really not interested in um, trying to tell us who we are, right? Because
Right.
they
Right.
burned the books, right? They broke the noses on the pyramid. They did all these things. So they are not interested in you determining who you are because once you know who you are, nobody can tell you anything. And that's how I walk through this world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to walk through this world with this idea of first of all, you done got me on a roll because this is like this is I think this is very, very important because I feel we need to know who we are. We need to empower ourselves and we'll walk through this world differently. We don't have to keep asking for
Mm-hmm.
scraps. We don't have to keep looking to others for ourselves. I can't even express
Right.
that enough. We have to know who
Everything
we are.
is internal. Yeah. Everything is already within you. Everything
Yeah,
that you need, all that you are. You don't have to
it's
seek it
already
from the
there.
external because the external is going to put on this facade and give you what they think you need, not what you
Mm-hmm.
really need. That's
Exactly.
why like the first step in anything in any journey is just learning who you are and remembering who you are.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, just
So
connecting with yourself.
connecting with self, connect with spirit, connect with God or higher source, or however you'd like to refer to this entity as, and connect with ancestors. And that's that on that because I needs to go. But
Yes. Same here, but thank you for discussing this with me so we can raise awareness about this. We have a couple more of these coming up, but thank you guys for being here and listening and interacting in the comments. I see them pop up, but I'm just trying to like learn and take this all in so that I
Mhm.
can practice this, add this into my spiritual practice to build a stronger foundation of who I am so that I can give out, what the world needs once I find
Mhm.
what I need.
Yes.
But
Blessing.
yeah, thank you for being here and sharing these gems with us as
Thank you for
always.
having me. I love
Yeah,
you. I love being in the community with you, as always.
definitely. I love it.
Love it. I would give you a heart, but I'm not on my
Oh,
tripod,
you
so
have to.
I have one hand.
Right,
So,
right. Here. Well, we can make one together.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yay. Beautiful. I love it. Well, thank you, Desiree. Thank you
No
guys for
problem.
joining. We will see you next time on our
Yes.
holistic health chats.
Yes.
All right. Have a
Until
great
next
rest of your
time.
day.
Bye.
Bye.